So today I'm filming a video that I didn't know that I'd be filming. Today we're filming my Shadow and Bone review reaction. This is for the TV show. Full disclosure, I have never read a Grishaverse book. Ever. I've read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I have a review from that from like ages ago. Ages. It was fun. I had a fun time. It was fine. Nothing like this show. So when I watched this show on Friday, it was purely just because it was everywhere. And I was like, I like young adult fantasy TV. I like watching it. I watch the CW frequently. Like, not as much anymore, but like frequently. I like drama on TV. Young adult is a great form for drama, especially when it's tropey. I heard this was tropey. I didn't even watch a trailer. I just decided to start watching it. So when I say I started the first episode and I didn't know what was going on, I really didn't, but I thought the world building was really well communicated to me. I really understood what was happening. I was really intrigued. I had so much buy-in to these friendships. I cared a lot. I cared a lot. I'll keep it spoiler-free for a bit at the beginning, but what I can say is that if you're someone like me who like missed the Grishaverse in 2012, you didn't read it and you haven't read it now because maybe you're like me and you're an adult who doesn't want to read a 2012 young adult series, it just doesn't speak to you, this show is great. I don't think you need to read the book. I don't know. I got everything I needed. That said, full disclosure, I don't visualize when I read, so I am always amused by almost any fantasy adaptation. Like, there are some I love more than others, and there are some that I don't like. Looking at You, Aragon, first movie, that wasn't it. But I visually really liked getting to see magic, because I never get to see magic, if that makes sense. Like, my head is not as imaginative as I would like it to be. So I really liked visually what happened on the screen. I loved the character interactions. I laughed. I liked that, like, I don't know. I really liked how the plot happened, even though, like, some of it's very predictable. There are some things that could have been done with more nuance. It definitely fell into some predictable ruts that the internet's already talking about with basically some of its conversation on racism. There's also, of course, basically a whole tragic backstory of a person that hinges on a love interest being hurt. Like, you know, there's stuff. But for the most part, I had a great time. It was a great, like, visual experience. It was, like, just 7 hours of my weekend. It was awesome. But now I want to talk about some spoiler stuff because I have questions. I have some serious questions, and I actually don't want any spoiler answers. So please, no spoilers from the books. I don't want to know anything about the books. I want to keep watching this show knowing nothing. It's been great. But I do have questions. Such as, people ship the Darkling with Alina? That's a serious thing. Like, what happens in the books that's so different from the show to make this okay? First of all, I learned about myself that although I have shipped young female protagonists with old dudes, like, I've definitely done that. I mean, I just read Of Court of Mist and Fury. It happens. But when I visually see it on the screen, I don't like it. I don't. Like, the actress playing Alina, I think Alina's supposed to be, like, late teens from what I can tell, but the actress herself's 25. Regardless, the actor playing the Darkling, I saw him in Westworld, so that took me a minute. I'm like, what are you doing outside of Westworld in this media? Because he's a very different person in Westworld, if you've seen it. But then I'm just like, he's 39. He's not, like, young. He's like 15 years older than Alina. Like, the actress playing Alina. I'm just like, I don't like this. Because at first, when you're in episode 2, they have that, like, moment of, like, I'm really close. We're really dark. I'm, like, stealing you away. So Stockholm Syndrome plot arc ensue. And, like, I'm like, am I supposed to be shipping this? Because I like Mal, which I know is an unpopular opinion from the books, apparently. Mal's great in the show. Mal's great. I mean, he gets hurt too often, but he's great. I like Mal. Now, and so then I watched that, and then I remember vaguely, the internet likes the Darkling. The one thing I knew about this was there are Grisha, and there's a Darkling. I thought the Darkling was going to be a different race of person, because, not like actual, like, race as in human race, I meant, like, fantastical race. Like, if you've played Dungeons and Dragons, there are Darklings. So that was confusing, that it's just another Grisha, but fine. And then I'm watching it, and then I'm watching Alina be a teenager, which, like, we're not going to get into the character development of that because it's young adult and it had to happen. But also, she seemed like she had such a strong foundation with Mal that I feel like she maybe would have thought, oh, these people who captured me are keeping my letters. Like, she seemed smart up to that point, but she wasn't being very smart. She was blinded by fake new friendships and some brooding dude, which we've all been blinded by a brooding dude, so I can't fault her that, although he is old. Like, even, like, I didn't know he was immortal for a long time. Ignoring that he's immortal, he's still a lot older. Like, especially if she's supposed to be, like, 19 or 18, it's just, like, it's a bit older. Like, once you're, like, older, you can date older people, because then, like, you know, numbers don't matter anymore, but she's, like, is a difference. It's a big difference. I was concerned. But then he turns out to be, like, super evil and super possessive, and I could super, like, not like him, and it was great. It was awesome. There's no universe in which that ship makes sense to me. Like, how? Like, he literally puts a magical collar on her. Like, no, that's not it. Even before the magical collar, even before we learn he's bad, he's, like, super unhealthily possessive. Like, saying, where's my sun summoner, and, like, all this nonsense, and, like, her safety, like, there's the scene before Mama Darkling tells us what's happening. Basically, she had a double that got killed, and so instead of telling her, giving her agency, treating her like a partner, he just locks her in a room and leaves guards outside the door, which, like, I was like, no, her life's in danger, you should tell her. That's, like, I mean, before the whole, like, he's just a brooding older man taking advantage of this woman, like, that was weird. But, like, that was also, like, red flag number 2. And then his mom shows up and is like, my son's crazy, you gotta get out. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is bad. and then you get the collar, and then he's like, she'll love me one day, maybe in 50 years. I'm like, sir. Like, you're so old. Why does romance even matter to you to this level anymore? Like, I don't understand his obsession with her. She's just like a 19-year-old, right? Like, So, I don't get that ship. And I think the show agreed with me. Whoever wrote the show also didn't get that ship. And I appreciate it. Mal is great. Now, I also hear people who are like, well, why did there need to be a ship? And I agree. I am all for it being 100% platonic, but this is a young adult series. That's not gonna happen. But I would be completely 100% fine, and that friendship was everything to me, besides Milo. Milo is everything. I cackled when Jesper was hugging Milo. Jesper's amazing. Like, Jesper was the best of the crows. I mean, I think I'm supposed to like Inej, and Inej was cool. But I think in terms of, like, characters that purely through the screen, like, I only got to see them from the TV show, I've read no books, Jesper was great. And I know some people don't like the Nina arc, whatever was happening there. Like, I will say, kind of out of left field, but, like, does no one remember in Game of Thrones when, like, we would randomly see people and nothing made sense for, like, seasons? Like, that's how I feel about the Nina arc. I was like, oh, okay, this doesn't really make sense, but I like this person. She's great. Like, I thought she was awesome. I thought that, like, pseudo, slow burn, sort of enemies to lovers thing was awesome. But I loved Jesper and the goat. And it's great. Every scene in the fold was so anxiety-inducing in the best way. Like, that's the type of way I like to be anxious in my shows. Like, I don't like horror when I watch TV, and that wasn't horror, but it was still suspenseful, and I really liked it. I will say, though, a weakness, and I don't need answers to this. I think this is probably a weakness in the books that just continues in the show. Maybe not. I don't know. Who's the war against? That's unclear. Now, if you're just watching the show, it's unclear. I'm sure if you've read the books, maybe you have a better inkling. But it looks like we've got fake fantasy Russia, sort of against a war against its Asian neighbors, presumably. But they also have a war against more northern people. But then there might be a civil war. But also the fold isn't ideal. That's what I got. I don't actually know who the army is consistently fighting. I don't have a sense of that. There seem to be a lot of military camps, like, on the fold, but until, like, that last scene when the Darkling was like, follow, because of course he wasn't dead. Duh. But Like, before that, it's like the flood's not actually fighting you. It's just like a really, really inconvenient barrier. Like, it's just a really annoying thing that's kind of scary. Like, it's like a forest you shouldn't go into. Like, it's basically a really amped up fantasy forest that's really scary. I do like it. I like a lot of the things here. I'm very excited for season 2 to see what happens. Oh, I also laughed when the crows are trying to steal Alina and Alina steals herself for them. I was with Jesper there. I was like, this is perfect. This is ideal. So those are my very off the top of my head thoughts on this show that I just spent like my entire weekend watching. I liked it. I had a good time. I don't feel like anyone needs this. Everyone and their mother has a Shadow and Bone video, but this is my perspective as someone who literally has no stakes. I do not read the books. I do not care to read the books. I don't want to. I would have told you if I thought it was bad. And again, though, my bar for fantasy adaptations is low. It just needs to look pretty to me. And I will say, and I was saying this to friends, I thought that the acting was great. Like, everyone, I think, acted so well and really brought so much personality. I really, like, felt things. I had emotions. And I feel like in young adult fantasy adaptations, that is the thing that's normally missing for me. Like, normally, that chemistry just doesn't quite make it. Some do it better than others. The first Twilight movie does it really bad. Like, really bad. Those pauses in that film are not it. Not it. Awkward long pauses, not, But anyways, this one for me, I mean, I haven't read the books, but from what I can tell, everyone who's read the books have told me this is better. So, yeah, and it looks like if I were to read the books, all the things I like aren't there. Like, apparently Mal's awful. So, yeah, no, I love him. He's great. He's awesome. That friendship is like A+. I am all for that found family friendship. That's my thing. That I was feeling like how I felt when I read Middle Game. Like, I loved that. That was so good. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. Do not spoil the books for me. Any of them. I don't want to know anything. I'm riding on this I don't want to know nothing train. But, like, honestly, if you're a Darklina stan, I don't get it. I guess fantasy, do what you want, but, like, I wouldn't want to date the Darkling. And that's how I do stans, is like, do I want to be with that person? And, like, Ben Barnes is an attractive man, and also closer to my age. He's only 10 years older than me, so maybe. But, like, nah, I can't unsee him from Westworld. Nah, he's such a jerk in Westworld. He's such a tool. But, yeah, no, I don't want to be with the Darkling. I also didn't want to be with Edward. There's only one immortal character I've ever thought, okay, might be okay. But then, even then, I don't want to be with any Fae. Like, I like watching Fae relationships in Sarah J. Maas books, but I don't want to be with them. I was talking to Rachel from Reads with Rachel, and, like, someone was, like, talking about on the internet how they were shocked when someone pushed against the idea of a character not being feminist. And it's like, I don't want to be in a Fae relationship. They're all possessive as hell. And no. They might be pretty. And they might be experienced. But they wouldn't treat me like a partner like I want to be treated. So no. But, you know. So I actually don't judge people who ship it. But, like, based off the show, it's a no. I don't get that. And I was so scared that the show, like, I didn't know what happened with the Darkling, so I was so scared that there was, like, an actual romance there, and I was just like, no. And I was happy when it just went, oh, he's evil, we can just universally decide no. And yes, I will make you my villain. That was, I think Marinez said it best, that was the most gaslighting of gaslighting lines in the universe. Like, you just enslaved her magic. Of course you're the villain. That you took away her agency in the most direct way possible. Sir. Now this video's done. I don't know what Grisha emojis. I guess an elk. Elk would be good. Or goat. No, goat. Has to be goat. Milo. Milo's great. From what I can tell, Milo's also not in the book. So, like, no. Oh, I would also say, if no one had told me it was also Six of Crows, I liked the Six of Crows character interaction. It didn't bother me. But I didn't know that if it could bother me. Like, I don't know anything. It was fun. I had a fun time. Not, like, the best show I've ever watched. It wasn't super bingeable for me. Like, I watched, like, 2 or 3 episodes at a time. But, like, it was good. I had a good time. I'm gonna watch season 2. I'd rewatch it with friends. That's how I feel about the show. I think that's a pretty good show. And otherwise, like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.